So, Stephen A. Smith has decided to piss off the MMA community again. What's up, people? It's Michael here, and obviously we're going to talk Stephen A. Smith and his latest comments about the sport of MMA. This time, he decided to talk about women's MMA. And yeah, the full quote, if you want it, will be in the description maybe. You can go search it up for yourself. I only ask that you get the full quote in context, or at least the full clip in context, before making a decision, because making a decision on part of the information is assuming. And you know what happens when you assume. But basically, what he said is he won't support a ban of women's MMA. He won't support anything disparaging women's MMA, but he personally himself doesn't like to watch women's MMA or women's boxing for that matter. And a lot of MMA fighters got upset because, well, Stephen A. Smith is a voice of mixed martial arts. Which is insane because mixed martial arts is probably the most egalitarian of all the major sports. But regardless, that's another video for another time. Anyway, back on Stephen A. Smith and his comments. I think two things are apparent. One, Stephen A. Smith should probably stop broadcasting mixed martial arts in any capacity. Yeah, that includes the big fights, the small fights, any kind of women's or men's mixed martial arts. Here's the deal. I think that the problem with Stephen A. Smith is he doesn't know the sport. It's evident and it's clear. And now, whether he knows it or not, or whether he believes this or not, he has disparaged a huge part of mixed martial arts. So, unfortunately, you can't have him on a broadcast because it undermines your sport. I don't know what else to say besides that. But here's the thing though. He should have never been on a UFC broadcast. Anyone who's a sports fan would tell you that Stephen A. Smith's area of expertise is basketball. And then football is his number 2. And I would probably say baseball is his number 3. Although primarily he's a basketball and football guy. And when you put him in other sports, he's stretching himself thin. So it's a miracle to me that ESPN, a company that is the biggest sports outlet in the world, has some of the greatest producers of our generation and some of the smartest sports minds, didn't necessarily see that coming. I didn't realize he was going to look like a fool on television when talking about MMA. And that's irregardless of whether you want him to be controversial or not. And this is coming from a guy who defended him for being right about Donald Cerrone. So again, I say this not to be mean, but just to say the truth. But the second thing that's apparent is our MMA community is a bunch of sandbaggers. So I'm going to be the first to say that what Stephen A. Smith said was stupid and ignorant and quite frankly, foolish. Especially since you are a mouthpiece for the sport. Because if you like mixed martial arts, you should like the idea of women's mixed martial arts. Now, that doesn't mean you can't be critical of women's mixed martial arts. On the leg kick, we are sometimes to a fault really critical of women's mixed martial arts. But we still like women's mixed martial arts and want it to succeed. However, when you really take a look at what Stephen A. really said, he didn't say he hates women. He just said he personally doesn't like to see a woman getting hit. And yes, I'm not going to lie, kind of chauvinistic of him. However, it's not like he said he would go out of his way to ban mixed martial arts. It's not like he said he doesn't respect women's mixed martial arts, or that he doesn't respect women in general, or doesn't think they can't hack it. In fact, one of the missed quotes about this entire thing is him prefacing his comments by saying he thinks a lot of women are qualified to do their jobs. So you can argue he was talking about women mixed martial artists. So really, all that happened was he just said, personally, he doesn't like to see women fighting. Something about it irks him. And here's the thing, he's not the only person who said this. And in fact, more knowledgeable people about the sport have said something either similar, like in the case of GSP, which, by the way, he has not apologized or backtracked for saying what he said. But because he's GSP, no one came after him except for Ronda Rousey and Miesha Tate. Or worse, like many other fighters. And by the way, it's not like Khabib Nurmagomedov hasn't had his share of hiccups when talking about women's mixed martial arts. And Firas Zahabi, the famed trainer, flat out says he doesn't roll with women. Because, well, you know what? Watch the video and you go find out why he doesn't roll with women. Anyway, my point is, I didn't see much backlash or many comments towards GSP, Khabib, Fedor, or Firas Zahabi. I didn't see many backlash and comments towards Islam Makhachev flat out saying MMA is not a women's sport. But I saw backlash for Stephen A. Smith, even though you can make an argument that what he said in comparison to all the others is less damaging to the sport. And the only reason why I could think there was a lot of backlash for Stephen A. Smith and not for the others is because it's easy to criticize someone who is a perceived outsider in the sport. It's easy to criticize Stephen A. Smith, but what's not easy to do is criticize someone who is one of the greatest mixed martial artists of all time in Khabib, GSP, and Fedor Emelianenko. It's not easy to criticize one of the greatest MMA trainers of all time in Firas Zahabi. And it's not easy to criticize a rising prospect like Islam Makhachev. So many of you decided to look the other way and go silent. Now, I'm not saying cancel GSP and Fedor and Khabib, and I'm not even saying that they're not respectful to their women MMA teammates. There is evidence to suggest otherwise. But what I am saying though, well, really just asking is, are we being a little hypocritical? Or maybe this, are we bullying the outsider like we always do? So for all the people who said their thing about Stephen A. Smith, honestly, good job. And I think it's needed, but I better see the same energy the next time it's not easy. That's my only point. But that's my video. I don't want to run this too long. Let me know what you think. Whether you agree or disagree, comment below. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, do all that stuff, yada, yada, yada. And until next time, I'm Michael, and stay safe.